So I think we'll start.
I think so. We can. Anyway, you are recording. Others can.
Yeah. So first question is that what should we meditate?
Morning, Padmashri.
Good morning, Padmashri. So
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
yeah, the first question is what should we meditate? We should have an object of.
Data has not come.
No, she will not be coming today and tomorrow.
Okay.
And she wants me to record and share it with her. So, what should we meditate? We should meditate using an object. Can be anything, but that's the basic aim is to have. If we are going on the Bhakti Marga or on the Bhuta Shuddhi way, then a deity will do. If you are going by the Jnana Marga, then the breath will do, because breath is neutral. It doesn't have any form. So you can use the breath, and we can use the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. In that, the thing is, you can observe the stop in the breath. That is the right way of doing. So we can do that. And some people use Soham. So that is also one approach of doing it. Whatever one wants to do, he or she needs have to set a object of meditation. Now when we go by the Bhuta Shuddhi way, we are establishing that deity in the mind and trying to see the deity in everything we do. So everything is offered to the deity. Whereas when we come to the Chitta Shuddhi, we are not doing that. We are investigating into the reality. So we are not going by deity, we are going by investigation. By investigation, one will penetrate into the reality, how things are, and who is that person who is inside, and what it is all about. Same thing can happen when we do the Bhuta Shuddhi. Now, the question comes, what Bhatt was asking is that if somebody were to really get into that, he or she has, let us say, in his case, he would go more into Durga. Now, he has to drop Durga if he wants to achieve the Nirguna Brahman. Just to say that what is Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna is without the Rajas Tamas Sattva or Sattva Rajas Tamas, and Saguna is with Sattva. And the dosha of the Rajas and Tamas is attenuated or reduced. So that is the way of doing. So when we have Sattva, that deity will get established. But that's not true. That is not the end result. It is just a basic thing which has happened. That means from a normal outcome, the person has gone to a bigger outcome wherein he has established the deity in his mind, the God in his mind, or the Ishtadevata is come. What that person needs to do further is to drop it. That's very difficult to drop. But without dropping it, cannot attain or experience the Nirguna. So many people get stuck with Saguna. That is fair enough, it's good. So at the end of their life, they end up being in that realm of existence because they have Guna. But it's Sattva Guna, much better rather than having anything. So transcending the Guna is what that needs to be done. So how this has to be done, if one were to ask, then he has to come into Jnana Marga. If the person has not come into Jnana Marga, remains in Bhakti Marga forever, or with that deity, he gets attracted by the deity and keeps on being in that, and doesn't get into the Jnana Marga, it doesn't work. Because using Jnana only, you can remove this deity in the mind. So initially, I was having problem in concentration, and that's the reason I chose Bhakti Marga because then there are some activities that can be done. Because I am a person who get distracted. So it is better that I go through Bhakti Marga. And when I do that, I come to the stability. So once I come into stability, I need to move into the Jnana Marga because that was the thing I need to have started with. And those people who are stable, they don't have to go through Bhakti Marga. They can directly enter into the Jnana Marga. But when they enter into the Jnana Marga, one of the things they need to do is to offer themselves to the guru or to whomever they are believing in. Let us say, I believe in Shankara. I should I should offer myself to Shankara. The ego is surrendered to Shankara. In the Bhakti Marga, the ego is surrendered to the deity. So I need to still do the same thing with Shankara or with Buddha or with Mahavira or with whomever I am going with, Rama or Krishna or whatever it is. If I think that they have given me the Jnana Marga, let us say if I go by the Yoga Vasistha, Yoga Vasistha talks about entire liberation. And Rama, at the age of 13, he was able to understand the whole thing. So that is a conversation between Rama and Vasistha. Now, in that, let us say I get so much motivated by that, then I go into the Jnana Marga. So I start experiencing whatever Vasistha is explaining to Rama, I am experiencing the same thing with me. Then at a certain point in time, I need to give up my identity and surrender to that Jnana. Then the remaining thing will work. So it is a two-step process in whichever way we take. Whether we take Bhakti Marga, we have to go into Jnana Marga. If we take into Jnana Marga, we have to surrender using the Bhakti for that Guru and then move forward. So then you will lose that deity or that attachment to whatever is there in the mind. Even the subtle attachment will go away. So this is what that has to be done. The reason why we get only limited amount of the bliss is, number one, the mind is distracted. It is not able to see that deity or reality or whatever we have created in the mind, in everything. Let us say I'm seeing a tree, I'm seeing a table, I'm seeing a wife, and I'm seeing a son, I'm seeing a home, I'm seeing everything. I should work like the sunlight, which is not distorted in anything at all. It doesn't make comparisons. It doesn't really get biased that it should shine on the road. It should not shine on the home. It should not shine on this person. It should not shine on that person. So sunlight job is to shine. It just shines. So if I'm getting into that kind of awareness, then I'm released from the duality of existence. So for that, I need to give up this. Give up this what? Give up the mental thirst for holding on something. And that's the reason we covered that ni maye olago nin nolu maye. That is the same thing. Because this God, which is everywhere, let's say, is the Maya. Or Maya is within the God. Right? So it's an illusion of the world, or the world is within illusion, or illusion is within the world. Whichever way we take. So if you don't want the world, the illusion also goes along with that. Because the world is illusory. So Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya. Jagat is Mithya because all relationships are Mithya. And we can see that they are not true. But still we are attached to it because we find something stable in the relationship. Something stable in something which is literally unstable. Even for a moment, that relationship is not stable. But still we have this thing of stability. So this is Jnana. Between Anitya and Nitya is the Jnana. I am not ready for that. Okay, go by Bhakti. But once you establish Durga and you're able to talk to Durga, drop her. because then you have to come to Jnana. Don't forget the fact that you have created Durga in your mind. It's not that really Durga has come and then doing. It is working in that way because the consciousness is pure and bright. It can create anything. Just like if I go by the Jnana Marga, which I follow, if I were to see the walking or the talking what I am doing, can never happen without consciousness. The dead man cannot talk unless there is a consciousness which is doing that. But this is a defiled consciousness. An individual consciousness is a defiled consciousness. Defiled by what? Defiled by the raga, dvesha, moha. It gets attracted to the senses and it thinks that it itself is that. That is the problem. So what I need to see is that this is there in everyone, not only in me, it is there in everyone. So that all me becomes me. So that is the jnana. If I'm attached to myself, then it is selfish. If I am not attached to myself, then it is selfless. Similarly, if I am attached to deity, it again becomes selfish because I want that deity. But then when I release that, the deity is there in everything. So then it is without guna. Even that sattva has been transcended. Did I answer? But hi Lata, so you said
yes. Yeah, you answered.
Okay. And then
what happens is most of us when we do pray God, we always ask for give me sukha. And then it goes shanti.
Correct.
Then here we have to drop everything, right? We are not asking anything with God.
Correct.
Then we are entering to the next level called, we are dropping so-called that image of Saguna God as well.
Correct.
Then there is nothing to ask or nothing to give.
Correct.
You yourself is that jnana.
Yes.
So then only subject remains, there is no object.
Correct. So that is when Shankara said that aham brahmasmi.
Mm-hmm.
Because you yourself is that God. And you have got caught up in the samsara. Otherwise,
there is sometimes this temporary bliss comes. So what is this temporary bliss phenomena? How it works? Is it that sometimes we reach there and then again coming back?
No, sometimes when you are in a peaceful state of mind, you have any peaceful state of mind is called as bliss. Okay, when we say bliss, it means that without expectation. The easy way of understanding bliss or making it look very something extraordinary is to just say that at this time you don't have any expectation. That is bliss. So when the senses are satiated, or when you are seeing something, or when you're hearing something, or when you're tasting something, when you're touching something, and when you're smelling something, you feel completely with that thing. You get absorbed in that, leaving no I in between. Let's say we'll go to Tirupati and we stand in the line, and suddenly when you enter into the Garbhagudi, you forget yourself, and that is bliss. Reason being that there's nothing to expect. But the moment you start expecting or asking that deity, give me this, give me that, it comes back to Dvaita. So there's no bliss experience. That person is experiencing his work has been done. Meaning he went to Tirupati, he paid the money, he stood in the line, everything happened, and he thanks the God for giving him an opportunity to come and see him. This is basically what has happened. But the blissful feeling will come when there is no expectation. But that is limited. Let's say I go to Annapurneshwari temple, or I go to some temple. Let us say I go to Guruvayur, or I go to Thiruvananthapuram, or wherever, whichever temple, whatever way I want to worship. If I'm standing in front of the deity and I forget myself, which is equivalent to going and doing a bungee jumping without expecting what it is going to be. And that moment I forget myself, that is bliss. But that is literally momentarily. Okay. So that moment you are in Atmananda. That is, you have a limited existence and you are in that existence. Further beyond, if you were to have a Brahmananda, that means you have to give yourself up. That I giving up was very little. When I did a bungee jumping or when I stood in front of the Tirupati Balaji temple or whichever temple I went. Before that, if I were satisfied with anything I'm doing, so then I'm in peace. So sometimes we are peaceful and every peaceful experience will become bliss. But it is limited to that sense, because only for that sensual stuff it is at peace. Something else come, it is going to ruin that peace. So we again come in pieces. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in this case, there is something called witnesser, experiencer, and experience.
Correct.
So experiencer, when he experiencing that what you call blissful feeling, then it is temporary in nature.
Correct.
It is just Atmananda, not a Brahmananda. So when the experiencer drops himself, then you are not even bhakti also. You are in the other side of that. That means the witnesser, Brahman, and this so-called Atman, both will become like one, right? When you drop this experiencer, you have only witnesser, but the experiencer is dropped there.
No, can you just repeat what?
Okay, I will say that. See, what we are doing is anywhere when you enter the temple, as you said, Garbhagudi, the moment you enter, you forget about yourself because that was your goal to reach there. And physically you have reached, mentally you have reached, and now you are getting that Atmananda, a momentary feeling, like a bungee jump.
Okay.
That time, experiencer is there, experience is there. Okay, this is all Jivatma's Lakshanas, experience and experiencer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you forget about your experiencer itself, is when you drop it, there is nobody to then experience. Then it is only Brahman.
Correct.
So you are talking about that, how to move.
Yes, I'm talking about that when that I goes away, when that identity, that I think.
So you have to drop everything that time. That
yes.
Means you have to drop your bhakti, you have to drop your even saguna, you have what you call sattva also will be completely dropped. So now you are also Trigunatita.
Yes, you are Trigunatita. Then only you can feel something which is without Triguna. If you are Triguna, you can never see which is beyond Triguna. How can the limited experience the unlimited unless it is unlimited? It is not possible.
Yeah.
So the whole progression is this way. First, start with the minimal thing. Minimal thing is the puja. Okay. Then continue on japa. Then go on tapa. Then you establish the 5 yama, 5 niyama completely. Then get submerged into the ocean of bliss by starting oneself as a sadhaka, wherein you put your deity and make the deity appear before you, before your mind's eye. And start doing the puja archana to that deity so that it remains with you all the time, guides you all the time, just like a guru would do. Then you start on the Jnana Marga, because that deity itself will take you to Jnana Marga. So let us say I like Durga, and Durga will start talking to me, helping me in understanding what is the reality, what is Brahman. Then I drop Durga. Even though she is my mother, I have to stand on my own leg. Mother can only take to some extent. She can lift me for some extent. The job I have to do it. She will nourish me with food and knowledge and help and what all is required, but I have to stand on my own leg. So now I will take permission from the mother to start my sadhana, and she will she will bless me for doing that. Then I go away. There is no longer personality existing. That personality was nothing but the chittas. So I have now transcended the chittas. There is no chittas. So it gets into chit. In that, experiencer and experience and the object of experience are all the same. So drig, drishya, viveka is all about that. Drig, drishya, both are not there. Revealing the true self, which is chit. That always existed. The chittas came and went away, came and went away, came and went away, till in this life, previous life, next life, all the chittas are coming and going away. The shuddhi here is understanding that the chittas are temporary. They are anitya. They are not self. And then they freeze. The moment this is seen, they freeze. Just like ice, just like water gets frozen when it gets terribly cold, and it becomes a sheet of ice where the whole bottom can be penetrated. So now you can penetrate the bottom of your lake, and you find that it's the same with everyone, no difference. Now the vrittis are not there. The modification, the movement, the way things were working are no longer accessible because you become chit. And you see that you become like sky, where you are unmoved by what appears on the sky. And that is Ananda. So you have now experienced Sat Chit Ananda, because all the chittas are frozen back into chit. In chitta, you have past, present, future. In chitta, you have memories. In chitta, you have buddhi. In chitta, you have ahankara. In chitta itself, you are having the doership and doing. I am doing this because of this. Now that is no longer there. So it cannot manifest either the unmanifested nor the manifested, because it is totally beyond modification. Then tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam. Now you can see the true nature, which is chit. That is the consciousness which is shining over everywhere. It doesn't care whether it is shining on the ant, on the microbe, on the plant, on the let us say animals, or on the devas, or the Brahma, on the humans, or pretas, or pitrus, or whatever. It just exists. It doesn't exist as this or that. It just exists. And that existence, not as what I want to exist, is called a chit. And that is always bliss. Satchidananda Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham. Now I have lost my identity. Just now that identity is gone. So now I become auspicious and auspicious. Because why? There is no longer death. The death has been transcended. Death is for the chitta, achyuta. Chuti is for the chitta. Chuti is not for achyuta. So now that consciousness, chit, is ever shining, ever bright, is shining in all directions, does not consider itself being established in this or that. It doesn't feel, it doesn't perceive, it doesn't do anything at all. except for lighting it. Just like I enter into a room, there's darkness, I switch on the light, it just lights up everything, doesn't care what it is lighting. Similarly, that chit is bliss. Chittas have limited. So when we condition the chittas to come in a proper way, there is limited bliss which is experienced, becomes peaceful. It starts withdrawing from the senses. The more it starts withdrawing from the senses and the sense objects, it starts getting frozen. The chittas will start to freeze. So when the chittas start to freeze, the thoughts are nothing but the images created by the chitta no longer happens. So the ahankara, which is making these images and thinking that it is that image, will die, because it requires chitta to survive. Without chitta, ahankara can never establish. So with that thing, a person no longer exists, because ahankara has to be there for a person to exist. Now that person is no longer existing. He doesn't claim himself that I am this and I am that. So that is how we transcend. Make sense?
Yeah, that is perfect.
Okay. So shall we move into the next in food and sleep? This is verse number
Yes.
16. Okay. So basically what we do, again, we in the sense all humans, generally we go to extremes. There are people who go into extreme of kama, sensuality, and there are people who deprive everything, including the dress they are wearing. They go nude. Digambara. Digambara is about mind devoid of rajas, tamas, sattva, not about the physical. But due to misunderstanding, they put the Digambara into action on their body. That means they go nude. And they start plucking their hairs, because they think that every hair is karmically driven. So keep on plucking hairs on the head, hairs on the chest, and hairs on the hand, and hairs on the private parts, hairs everywhere. They keep on plucking. It's a very painful, laborious process, but that is what they endure. So this is called as kila. Okay, so even that is the food. This is the food of thought. One is the physical food and one is the thought foods or mind food. So what he says is that a yogi cannot be a yogi if he eats too much, meaning indulgence, nor for somebody who doesn't eat at all, meaning he doesn't feed his mind, he doesn't feed his body. Neither for one who sleeps too much. What is sleeping? Sleeping means procrastinating. Let's do it tomorrow. Why today? What is the great deal? Today I have to attend to so many different things. I think we can plan it out tomorrow. I don't think so. It is so urgent that this has to be achieved today. It's not going to make any difference. So this is one kind of a person. Another kind of a person will feel that, oh shit, I should not sleep. I should be dynamic. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Life is very short, so I need to achieve maximum. So a yogi is a person who is balanced or goes on the middle path. Here is where Krishna and Buddha are exactly talking the same thing. So in Buddha teaching, he talks about kama sukhalu kanu yogo, and he talks about Kila Matanu Yogo. So here Krishna is saying this is not for person who indulges too much or deprives too much. He should not go into extremities. He should remain balanced, equanimous, because Brahman is equanimity, just like the light in the darkness, just like a sun rays touching the earth. It doesn't care what it is lighting on. If it is a shade, it doesn't light there. If it is no shade, it will light there. It doesn't make a distinction between, oh, I need to light this and I should not be lighting that. Not lighting that is no sleeping. Okay. And always in shade is sleeping. So a person should not be sleeping in the body, sleeping in the mind, and not sleeping at all in the body, not sleeping at all in the mind. Meaning this person should be balanced. So yoga is that for the person who is in moderation. Now don't misunderstand this word. To be moderate means I can indulge this and I cannot indulge this. Moderation means knowing for what you are doing. Initially I said about there are four things, four requisites. We have food, we have shelter, we have clothing, we have medicine. These are requisite, meaning it is required for a good living. For attaining brahmacharya, you require this. Now, what I am supposed to be doing as a yogi is to eat, but don't identify eating. I should not be identifying the eating. What is that? What does that mean? Oh, I am eating rice and sambar. Oh, I am eating rice and rasam. I am eating this kind of vegetable and that kind of vegetable. This vegetable is good and that vegetable is bad. This is grown in my garden, that is grown in that person's garden. I have not used any fertilizers and he has used fertilizers. My house produces so many different varieties of fruits, like that, or from wherever I'm buying or whatever I'm doing. What should be the state of my mind? My state of mind should be that for brahmacharya I am eating, not for anything else. Again, meaning of brahmacharya is Brahma plus Acharya. Brahm is to expand. For the mental expansion alone, I am eating. Because Brahman is expansion. Brah mean to expand. Man is mind. One that expands infinitely is Brahman. There is nothing called as, you see, a god called as Brahman, or a person sitting there and taking me. No. It is just that expansive state of mind without duality, without raga, dvesha, and moha. Raga, attraction, dvesha, repulsion, moha, myself, this self being there. The Brahman is a state where I don't exist. So no duality can exist if I don't exist. If I exist, I exist with duality. If I don't exist, there cannot be any duality. So basically, only for establishing that I am existing. For that, I require food. Then comes shelter. I am having a shelter to take care of the environment, because this body is not meant for torturous deeds nor for indulgence deeds, just to protect itself from the five elements. Then, clothing, for ensuring that I don't by mistake kill any beings like ant or centipede or millipede or snakes or whatever it is, or don't get bitten by them, mosquitoes and all that. So I cover myself up. And also for covering those parts which are shameful in existence. What are these genital parts? These genital parts shows that at one point in time, the chittas had this idea to procreate, to bring up, to suffer. So the male genital organ and the feminine genital organ are meant for that suffering. So the whole concept of family, the whole concept of life comes into existence with genital. So it's better to cover that, because that is the cause of this existence. Whether as existing as a ant or as a butterfly, as a honeybee, as a bird, as an animal, as a human being, it is this indulgence in genital is the one which caused this to happen. So the first and foremost thing I need to do is to cover up that genital in the mind and in the body. Because if I keep on seeing genitals, I am going to get attracted to it. Because that has been there as purva samskaras. Not only this life, and the previous life, and the previous life, and the previous life. So it is already the chittas are there, which bring about this idea of procreating. So I am going to clothe that, cover up that portion, because it is dirty, it is filthy, and it is something which creates this bondage to family, bondage to life, bondage to everything whatsoever. Starts with genitals. So I cover that up. Then the fourth one, medicine. Because I'm eating and I have no control over how this body is going to behave with that eating, I need to carry medicine. It's not for indulgence, it's not for deprivement. I need to exactly take the medicine to continue my brahmacharya. Otherwise, I cannot continue the brahmacharya in this body. So, a person has moderation in exerting himself in action, moderate in sleep as well as wakefulness. That means he sleeps properly, watching over his breath, watching over his body movement, and always establishing himself in that Brahman. Brahman is again Brahm. So, Brahm is to expand, Man is the mind. So, thought should arise not in contracting oneself but in expanding oneself. So, and then he doesn't make himself wakeful too much. Then, that person destroys the pain. Sri phone ಮಾಡಿದ ಆಗಲೇ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ ಮಾಡಿ. So then we come to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So we had gone through this, but it is good to start on it. So we have different kind of mind. One is the Mudha, one is the Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. So when the mind is in tamas, it is Mudha. So if a person were to ask what is Samadhi, he says, wow, a good night's sleep is what I call as Samadhi. Kshipta, a mind which is attached and also agitated with certain things. It is predominantly Rajasic kind of a tendencies. So if the same question is asked, I don't know, I cannot say I had a good dream either. So the Kshipta. Vikshipta. Kshipta is scattered, whereas Vikshipta is not so scattered. So it is condensed. So it's like a flame where the wind is blowing, and the person will feel that I don't know what it was, but it was like a calm state of mind, and I feel very relaxed. Then is ekagrata. So it is free from rajas and tamas, it is in pure sattva. It can now establish itself on a single thought object like the Durga or the Shiva or Shakti or whatever we take as a deity. Then, if the person were to be asked, what is the samadhi you have attained? He'll say, you know what, I've experienced something divine, but I have no words to describe it because I don't think so I can put it in any language. You should really see it to believe it. So, what he's talking is a state of mind of ekagrata. Then the niruddha. Uddha is to arise, nir is to cut, there's no arising. If this person were to be asked, he has transcended both the sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva, the tamas and rajas are the dosha, sattva is the state of the mind. He has transcended all the three. So, what he should say? He will say, I don't know. I don't have a mind to say what I experienced because I was not there. So, nirvikalpa is this, niruddha, where nothing arises, unconditioned. This is pure unconditioned existence, which doesn't have something to do with past. What I was there in the past. Was I there in the past? What I was doing in the past. When did I arrive in the past? Did I accomplish everything in the past? Nor anything called as a present. What I am in the present. What I was wanting to achieve in the present. What is this happening in the present? Who are the people I am meeting in the present? What are the relationship I am having with people in the present? Then in the future, will I be in the future? And what I will be in the future? Where I will be born in the future? What kind of parents will I be having in the future? Who would I be in the future? When I would be in the future? All those don't exist in niruddha. These mainly exist even before ekagrata. I consciousness as I, myself, mine, me, exist in mudha, kshipta, vikshipta, reduces a lot in ekagrata and does not exist at all in the state of niruddha. So what we are trying to achieve here is to go into state of niruddha. Now if I come from the bhakti yoga standpoint or bhakti marga standpoint, I am a pamara. Please help me. That is the mudha state of mind. After some time, he gets into kshipta state of mind. From tamas, it goes into rajas. So it starts praying to the god, doing a lot of offering and uttering Shanti mantra, uttering Veda, uttering Upanishad, and Purusha Sukta, Sri Sukta, Narayana Sukta, this, that, going to class, going to Veda class, Veda Parayana, then doing Aradhana, doing all kind of things. externalization followed by internalization is the kshipta state of mind. Then the third state is the vikshipta, vikshipta. He now comes to a state almost like sattva, but not truly there. He starts analyzing, what are these things I am doing? What is required and what is not required? So then he will start looking at one deity which he can establish within himself. And that state is the ekagrata. Once he is in ekagrata, the divine shows itself. It shines itself. So this person is in samadhi and he describes it as something divine. And people looking at him or her see that person very divine, because that inner light is projecting outside as well. In his talk, in his speech, in his actions, and in his thoughts, they project. If he ends here, the mind establishes itself in Brahma. Ha is to cut, Brahm, expansion. One whose expansion has got cut is called Brahma. Now, what does that mean? It means that he still has an existence. The I, which is limited, is existing in the chitta. I again repeat what I say. This I, which is limited, is existing in the chitta. So Brahma, ha is to cut, Brahm is to expand. The mind which was expanding, subtle amount of I got entangled with it. It couldn't expand further, couldn't become Brahman. It became Brahma. So once it becomes Brahma, then its reach is reduced. This person now, based upon his karma, the chittas have the karma, and the karma vipaka, or the fruit of karma. As soon as it gets exhausted, comes back to some realm of existence. Can be a deva, can be a manava, can be animal, can be whatever. A person who has transcended this gets into niruddha. No more arising. This is what he is supposed to be achieving in this life. And then there are vairagyas, different kind of vairagya to get into each one of these state. One kind of vairagya is a fleeting nature. Fleeting nature, and it cannot really recognize anitya and nitya without putting effort. Meaning he feels that I need to be dispassionate, so let me quit the job. And he quits the job, doesn't know what needs to be done, because he's not decided really what he should be doing. So he gets caught up. So for this person, effort is required. The second kind of a person is that he knows for what he is quitting the job, and his goal is clear. Like yesterday we were looking at 50th year. So 1 to 50, you have done everything. 50 to 100 is the same thing. There's no need at all to continue like that. makes no difference. If somebody were to really observe first year, second year, third year, fourth year, then from 70th year to 100th year, what is an achievement for a 1 year old or a 6 months old able to crawl? What is the achievement for a 80-year-old able to crawl in his bed or her bed? What is the achievement for 1 year old able to walk? Same thing with the 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old able to walk. What is the advantage? What is the achievement of a 2 year old able to go to the toilet on their own, urinate on their own, stand up on their own, able to talk? What is the thing for a 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old? Able to talk, able to walk, able to go to toilet, able to clean themselves up without making anybody else to attend to them. Okay, then what is the achievement for a 4 year old? Able to explain things. What is the achievement for 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old? Able to explain something. What is an achievement for a 5 year old? Go to school and learn something. What is an achievement for a 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old? Nothing. So if we really see the first 50 years of life, what this person has achieved is going to get washed away in the next 50 years. So there's no point actually to continue to be doing the same thing without really uplifting his mind, his or her mind. So at the age of 50, somebody should sit and introspect on what he or she is doing and then cut it off in the mind, not physically, cut it off in the mind. Just do as it is doing. That doesn't mean that you should not work, not go to a job, just sit at home. No. Go to work, but you are not working. You means there is no you to work. You are just doing it as a karya. There is no thing called as I am doing it. I need promotion or I need this, I need that. That is not there. It just happens, it happens. Doesn't happen, doesn't happen. So it doesn't mean that I should not have wife and children. No, please have. Or husband and children. You can have. But there is no I in that children. There is no I in the husband. There is no I in the wife. I in the sense, this is my children and this is my wife and this is my husband. This is not my home, no possessions. You still staying in the same home. Not that you run away. You're still in the same home. But there is no possessiveness of anything at all. So from 50th year, if we were to start this, then the fleeting nature of vairagya will not be there. And the attachment starts to reduce. When that happens, he can see that attaching to any senses is a sorrow, is a dukkha. Ultimately, all of these are going away. They are not coming back in any way, anyway. So now he can see that his children were there. They have settled down in their college or university or their post-graduation or in their job or whatever. Then after some time they get married and then they will have their children. They don't care a damn about me. Okay, I am on my own, they are on their own. And even if they come and meet me, I go and meet them, cannot do much. Cannot go back to their first few years of their life anyway. Because they have their own way of looking at their lives. Instead of changing them, I'll change my outlook. So I find that these senses going behind them is of no use. Then I do a Vashikara of the senses. Vashikara means I conquer all the senses. Govinda. Now he's the owner of the senses. At the age of 50 to the age of 60, I start investigating into it. Before I enter into the age of 60, all my senses have got withdrawn. So, with the withdrawal of the senses, the sense objects cannot do anything. So, the mind then gives up existence. So, the individuality gets diminished. And when the individuality gets diminished, from the age of 60 onwards, I am in Parama Vairagya. That is highest form of Vairagya. Where the entire prapancha made out of these five senses no longer can sway its tentacles on me. So I lose the body, mind, ego, and the chittas are completely frozen. I am in nirvikalpa samadhi because there is only dispassion. There is no passion. There is no belongingness. There is nothing called as holding on. There is no craving for existence in this or that. Craving to eat, craving to sleep, craving to see, craving to hear, craving to touch, craving to smell. None of them exist. So I transcend it. When I transcend it, I can see for myself. This mind is completely controlled. Controlled by what? What is control? Control here is that it's not swaying away to raga, dvesha, moha. Simple. Moha, I exist. Raga, attraction. Dvesha, aversion. It doesn't do that. So now that equanimity which I am maintaining in the death of the family members, let's say at the age of 70 or 75 or 80, I stay, my wife dies. What happens? Been there as husband and wife for so long years. So when my wife dies, the agony is too much. But now there is no agony because I have already died before my wife was dead. I died at the age of 50. That I no longer exist. So with that I no longer existing, how is that my wife then? There is no my wife. There is no my son. There is no my daughter. There is no my home. It is just existence. And that is the state of a siddha. And one rests on that pure witness alone. Free from the longing of objects of desire. Then this person is completely in harmony with nature. Harmony as in sunlight. Whoever dies, whoever lives, whatever happens, the sun just shines. If there is cloud, it is still shining. It doesn't blame the cloud. If there are no clouds, he doesn't jump in joy because there are no clouds. It just shines. This is the attainment of the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Shall we stop here? If you have any questions or something like that.
Good explanation, Vilas.
Thank you. Tomorrow we can start on the lamp in a windless place.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody is silent. Either you are already in samadhi or the way I explained was too much.
I was fully listening throughout.
Okay.
That was evident because you were asking questions. No?
Yeah.
Student, you listened attentively to ask questions.
The other three have become totally silent.
No, the other
I
three,
joined
I
in,
am attentive, but no questions because it's for me this Bhuta Shuddhi and Chitta Shuddhi, it is sinking in still, so I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah, Lata, sorry. You were explaining something.
No, anyway, all these explanations you have already done once. But
Yes.
it's so good to listen again. And
Sure.
again connect to that thing. Only thing is, sometime back when we were talking about Buddha Shuddhi, I was asking you whether this Mashan Kali and this Kali really exists. Okay. So, and you said it really exists. And then today and I always thought when your mind gets purified and whichever way you imagine your deity or God to be, in that form the consciousness comes.
Correct.
Will take that thing.
Correct.
And then when you told that time that all these exist, then I got a confusion at that point of time. And now again you explain the same thing, like I understand it, that when you are creating the deity within yourself, and then since you become purified, so whatever you think gets manifested. So
Correct.
if you have so much of attachment to that deity, you always think in that form, so that form comes.
Correct.
So
Yes.
which one is
The
correct?
contradiction, right? So both are right in their own way. See, now it depends on the state of the mind, from Muda mind to the Ekagrata mind. So,
yeah, understood. So I will put it this way: if we feel we are real in our body and mind, then the deity is also real.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So if you really think that you are not there, you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are really the pure consciousness, then all these are unreal.
Yes, because the gunas goes away.
Correct. So there is one thing called Tadas Lakshana and Swarupa Lakshana.
Correct.
Correct. So Swarupa Lakshana is the formless Brahman.
Correct.
And that's actual thing. But then the Brahman can also come in the way you want.
Correct.
Like Durga or Kali or Krishna or whichever way.
Correct.
So,
see, the thing is that, Lata, very good question, is like this. The consciousness itself is creating itself.
Yeah.
So in the quest of I being existing, I can create the deity in the mind and I can see it. And in fact, whatever we are seeing as whomever we are seeing is there in our mind.
Yeah.
Like you and I exist in the mind. The moment you move away, you don't really exist. See, for the last 5 months, none of us have met.
Correct.
The physical changes which have happened in our body is no longer perceivable by any one of us. So when we close our eyes, all the 5 of us are able to reflect upon the last known information.
Right.
How we looked. Now let us say if we were to meet again with mask and with first thing, what will happen is that we will try to correct our image with what we are seeing. Correct?
Yes.
And what happens to the old image?
It is replaced.
That is replaced.
Or it's become a memory.
No, it's fun, Lata, to watch. You will drop that image. You cannot remember it perfectly.
Yeah, correct. It will become vague. Correct.
It becomes vague. It is not perfect. Meaning, I cannot really say that the dress, everything is okay, but not into the minute detail of how many cells have moved in your body, right?
That anyway is not possible.
That's not possible. But that is what is happening, to be honest. To be the truth is that. So we only take an outer thing and then the remaining is projected by the mind.
Mm.
Similarly, this chitta, when it gets purified and purified and purified, will start reflecting the consciousness. Since chitta can create everything, it also can create the Saguna Brahman and display it in front of itself, because that appears in front of you, doesn't appear in front of anybody else, right?
Yeah, that is true. Anyway, I keep seeing that blue circle always, so I can
You can only
see
see
it.
it. You can only
I
see
can
it.
only see it. I cannot show it to anybody else.
Exactly. And what are you questioning me? I am seeing this blue. So if I have also experienced that blue thing, then I will say yes. Then if I have not experienced it, then what happens?
Yeah. I can only show some resemblance of what I am seeing. You know,
Correct.
like some images and all I have shown. I cannot really show what I am seeing.
Correct. So all that is created in the mind itself. So the Saguna Brahman is also created in the mind because it can create anything it wants. Because it is itself the consciousness.
Yeah.
But it is defiled with Raga Dvesha Moha. What if it becomes 100% pure?
Then actually you should be able to manifest anything and everything you want.
You will. Because temporarily you are doing it as a human being. Now there is nothing which is stopping you from manifesting as whatever you want. Correct?
Correct. That's true.
So now you can transcend.
Yeah, once you reach that state, but I think all of us are not there in that state 100% of the time.
Yes.
Maybe in between some time, because I can make out by that light, intensity of the light which I see. Sometimes it is dull, sometimes it is bright, sometimes it is white. So it shows that changing nature.
Correct.
It's not the same always.
Yes. So if it is all the while same, you become that Tat Tvam Asi.
Yeah, correct.
So all merge into the same one. Whether we take this one or that one, they all merge into the same. Good. Sri Hari Paramanandam, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Vilas. Thank you. Yeah, I was in Samadhi for some time. It's kind of a deep place. But then when you started to tell about 50 years and 60 years, so I was thinking, am I too early or what?
No, you are not too early. It is for all of us.
The faster you start, the better.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with too early or too late. Nothing is too late. And if it is too late, anyway, we'll put late so and so, right?
No, I think if you start late, the body will not love you. So
Yes.
you should start early when you're healthy.
Correct. Absolutely. So what you have started at 30s, it's good thing to do. And there is one guy who has joined on YouTube, and that guy is around 25 or 26-year old. It is much
Actually,
better.
that is good. I started when I was 36 years old.
Yeah. So I started at 25. Now I am 48. So it's been a long journey. So it is better to start early rather than regretting in the end.
Okay.
What I meant was 50 is the middle age, considering 100. So in the middle age, after 50, it is repetition of what you did in the first 50. So there's no point. So you better withdraw your senses. Oh, he's put his age is 23, not even 25.
Okay, good. Starting at a young age.
Yeah, he started
That
at,
means he has done something in his previous life.
yes, he has done something in his previous life and he's continuing. He started when he was in his second PUC or something like that. That's what he was telling me the other day, which is like 18-year-old. It's good for him.
Provided he continues and not the life doesn't suck him off.
Yeah, provided he can continue that zeal. Correct.
Vilas, one more thing. Before you reach your last stage of moksha, you can see all your lives. It is like you will have complete jnanam, right? Everything you can see.
Yes,
Like
you will,
like
yes,
like a clear picture, everything.
you are even otherwise every person sees his movie of the current life before he dies or
Yeah.
before that consciousness goes away. He'll see his entire life from the beginning till that time. Similarly, for a person who is accomplished like Siddha, he can see all his lives.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure. Because that pure consciousness has stored everything, right? So it will
Yeah,
just replay.
but this is what do you call this? Multiple lives. It's a beginning less, right?
Yes, it
But
is beginning.
end is there.
It is endless, but you can create an end of that journey.
Yeah. If journey means there's end. That
Yes.
means when you have yama time, then there's end. Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
when the person goes away as I, then you have ended the journey.
Okay, when you see all your previous life, what is that coming to that person's mind? Because all those people, they are in a various different what do you call jivas? Maybe human beings, maybe something else, devas or anything. Can he interact during that time with all those jivas?
You are interacting with them right now also.
See, you said that they are watching, they're around us, they're watching us, and they're trying to help us with good thought. And Rakshasi Guna means some negative thoughts also, depending on how we change our mood.
Correct.
Accordingly, the energy comes from those devas and suras and asuras. Similarly, see, now you are not able to see them, but they are able to see you. But when you are able to see them, then you know that how to tap that energy, what energy you want from them. Basically, it's a movement of energy, or happiness, sorrow, or something like that.
Correct. See, the thing is this way. It is very complicated to see what kind of people will get entangled with body and without body. Okay, but with whomever we are interacting now with body are the ones whom we have interacted in the past also, and that is the reason there is connection. Similarly,
Oh, that is assumption, huh? With
not an
all
assumption.
those people we are interacting now,
Yes,
that means we had some interaction earlier,
yes, absolutely. It is
directly or indirectly.
yes. It doesn't happen as a coincidence. There is nothing called coincidence at all in the world.
You see, if I write an exam, somebody is doing that evaluation. That person, I have not seen him, but he's doing something for me.
Yes.
That person is also somewhere it is connected, because my future is depending on his mood and all that.
Correct. Including you go to US visa, get a visa, you get rejected in the visa, whatever it is, or whatever you're doing. There is a connection. Either with that place.
Here is only connection is with that jivas, that guna to guna, or the place is also important.
No, I'm talking
for
about
example,
the place.
I have taken birth here, I'm living here.
Correct.
Say in Karnataka now. Is there any runa like that, the space related runa?
Yes, it is space related runa, and that space related runa only creates runa of existence where it is stronger. There is a runa anubandha with all of us. So Desha, Kala are the runa anubandha.
Desha and Kala both. Okay.
Both are runa anubandha. The time you are going to be spending in a particular place of existence is runa anubandha. So whether I was in the US or I was in India, I was in Sri Lanka, I was in this place or that place is dependent on the runa anubandha. So I can create new runas that might not happen right now. It will take its own time or can happen immediately also.
Hmm.
Okay.
A mosquito bite is also a runa, as per that.
Everything is runa.
Hmm.
See, you have taken out a very good example, but for the last few years, no mosquito bites me.
Mm-hmm.
In whichever place I go. Now, what do you have to say for that? Even when I had come to your hometown, I did not have any mosquito bites while I was talking at the field we were going and all that, right?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't have any mosquito bite. And another thing I've seen, very funny thing, when on especially on this road, when there are a lot of dogs near my home, and they all go and stand and they line up when I walk.
Is it?
Yes, they line up. Basically, they go to the side and they line up to one corner. Until I move out of the road, they will not come out.
This is like a Sadguru kind of some Prabhavali.
Yeah, that I'm been watching that. Where the moment
What moves to a side, bro? I didn't get
dogs. My road is filled with mad dogs. Basically, they keep on barking at every given person. The moment I open my gate, those dogs will be sitting there. They start walking and they go to a side of the pavement and they sit there and allowing me to walk. Once I turn from that road, they'll again come back.
Let me ask a question this way. See, in this past 2 years, you are attached to us or we are attached to you, or
it is both ways.
in a previous Janma, I am thinking, from previous Janma, what would have happened? Who is giving what to whom? You are giving knowledge to us. No. That means we have done some favor to you.
We both would have done favors to each other. See, you would have done something to me. See, but especially between you and me, there was no reason for me to join you at your hometown. Correct?
Yes.
There was a runa. There was a runanubandha. So we met. And we also met in ABB for the same reason. I don't know why did I speak on the Vedas or the Agnir Mile and why it stuck in you that you should meet me again, right? So there is a runa. So that is how it works.
See, for all this runa, responsible is Willem.
Because there is
wanted somebody to review the project. Where is Willem? Where are we? What is this connection?
No, that will be another runa. So there is all our runa only ultimately. The time we are going to Desha and Kala is runa, basically. That's the best way to put it. So in Desha and Kala, the consciousness appears itself as different individual and interacts with itself. Within that. So
and watch and enjoy, right?
Yes.
Watch and enjoy this.
It itself is enjoyer and it itself is a sufferer.
And don't create some more runa here. You delete those things from this life.
Yes, so that you don't have to come back again to give again the runa or exhaust the runas.
Yes.
So if Vilas, you get liberated, then whatever is the karma between with us,
will not,
meaning not only in you, whatever we have with you within ourselves will also get erased.
Yes, it will also get erased. It won't stand.
So that's why they say that in one family, if somebody is become realized or a saint, it has a benefit for the full family.
Yes, because all those karmas will get exhausted.
Yeah.
Similarly, at my home, right, even my wife and son are not really interacting with me right now here as I speak. This resonance will keep on reducing their karmas.
Yeah, okay.
So their karmas also get exhausted. So that's the reason it is called as if you stay with these people, sat sangha. Sat sangha is that sat means reality, one who has seen the reality. Sangha is bringing together. So when sat sangatve nitsangatvam, nitsangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. So if we go by that approach, if just by sat sangha, you will get liberated, because those karmas will keep on getting exhausted without the person's knowledge.
Yeah, that's good.
So that is the reason why Shankaracharya put that.
So what happens if somebody has reached only this Brahma state? So to that extent, the karma will get reduced.
Yes, it will not allow him to come back as human being. The womb will not, he'll not get an entry into the womb.
Yeah, for that person, but for the people associated with him. So those also will go away.
They also will go away. They will never be born as humans. That's the advantage.
Yeah, so it will be so good to see all this actually for yourself.
Yes.
How it works.
Yes, and now you are feeling it actually. Basically, if you really reflect upon from the time we met till today, if you keep on reflecting, you'll come to see.
Yeah. I think I have pestered you the maximum.
No, that is okay. Whether you pestered me or whatever you did with me, but you got what you wanted, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So my runa has ended, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So in that way, you have relieved me of that, correct? So you will not be following me.
Yep.
That's all. So job done.
Oh, detaching runa is moksha. Understood. For every runa is one moksha. Small.
Yes. See.
Yeah, you have to read Sadhguru's book on death. Then it's written Runanubandha. And how the realized really people, they can see where all they have this Runanubandha. So they go and do it in their other body, astral body. Finish it off. So we do not know. So for us, it happens by chance. And those people, they can see it and they can remove it consciously.
Yeah, because without removal of runa, you will not get mukti. Because there is always anubandha, following up.
Actually, Sadhguru also says, don't give shake hand to anybody.
Is it?
Even that creates one Runanubandha. That is why in our culture, we only do this namaste. We don't touch anybody. Unnecessarily don't touch anybody is what he said.
Yes, you are taking their runa on your head.
Yeah, correct. So then I was thinking there are so many things we are doing unknowingly.
Correct.
Good. It's 10 o'clock now.
Okay. All right. Yep. So we meet tomorrow again.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Then thank you. Bye. Good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.